Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again.
Folks, if you've been paying attention to my community section, looking at my posts and things like that, you will know that I received what I perceive to be a threatening email from someone named Jason Paul Grievous, who claims to be Commander-in-Chief and a number of other titles. And I want to share with you this email. Now, this is going to be an advanced video, meaning it's going to presuppose that you have some knowledge of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, or you have the capacity to go into my YouTube channel and study the over 1,000 free videos filled to the brim with quantum grammar knowledge so that you can get a better cognition of what I'm about to say. So in this first, start off in this video, I'm going to go through it and give you the gist of what this individual is saying. So let's look at it. You see here in the title's in brackets. So that means it's not there, right? So this guy claims to be some sort of authority in correct sentence structure, that he has knowledge of it, he knows how to use it. He actually sells courses for hundreds and hundreds of pounds or euros or whatever it is, or dollars, or whatever it is that he uses, claiming that he knows this stuff, but he does not have closure on it. I've proven this again and again, and I'm definitely going to prove it now because it was his decision, his choice to send this to me because of some video I posted about him. And I'm going to give you a little backstory on it as well. So as you can see, this is not a confidential email. Nowhere on it does it say confidential. And it's also addressed to someone else named Jake Single. I think that's how the name is said. If I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. This Jake individual went into my YouTube comments section basically as a cheerleader for Jason Paul Grievous, or maybe a babysitter, or a middleman, or an errand boy. And although he was not rude, he was very presumptuous in that he admitted that he had access or knew about a private and confidential meeting that I had with Jason Paul Grievous that I'm pretty sure was agreed that would not be recorded. And if it was recorded, because my memory is not serving me like it used to, but I can tell you for damn sure that if he said it was recorded, that he would never share it with anyone, because that's what confidential means. That's the honor and grace of the situation. This Jake individual claims to have knowledge of it and seen it. And he said as much in his comment and other communications. And I have other sources that can certify this. So that means that Jason Paul Grievous broke confidentiality. And so once that happens, everything is off the table. The Rule 1 rule equals off the table. The honor and grace are off the table. And the peace and neutrality are off the table. Because now this individual is trespassing on my domain. Because they have broken a contract that we had. I mean, and it's not a big deal because I didn't say anything in that video that I would have any problem with if it got out in the public. It's just the fact of the matter that Jason Paul Grievous broke confidentiality. And that just attests to the guy's character, which also attests, that he's running a scam, charging people for money, claiming that he does this thing, but he doesn't actually. And I do have students, several actually, that have come to me from him saying that they have had no success with what he does and that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And when he's questioned on it, he gets angry, much like Russell J. Gould and his people. Why do they get angry? My guess is because they don't have closure and they don't want to be scrutinized. I, on the other hand, am perfectly willing to be scrutinized with regards to grammar. As I've said many times in the past, jokingly but seriously, I will take the Pepsi challenge with anyone on this grammar. And I will seriously call out anyone who claims to have closure on the grammar and some authority over this flag or grammar or even the military and question them on it. Anyways, let's get into it. So they start out saying the following claims are of a negative written stance and should in no way be claimed to have positive mass. So what have we heard David-WYNN Miller say multiple times in videos or in the past? Correct sentence structure is about making positive performance claims, not negative performance claims. You can't prove a negative. Now we use such terms as damage claims. You can make a damage claim, but not a negative claim. So there's the first red flag for you folks. Oh, second red flag. Oh, third red flag, sorry. The first red flag is the subject matter of the email. That's in brackets. The second red flag is the incorrect use of colons. Colon space Jason-Paul space colon space Grievous. How are you supposed to know what that means? Well, to me it looks like of the Jason-Paul, and then there is no scenario where there would be a space between the last letter of a fact and a colon, unless it comes at the end of a sentence and is preceded by a with the, preceded by a possessive. But this is not preceded by a possessive. It's preceded by a concern, a consequence of the. Going by the rules of correct sentence structure, which, again, this individual does not have closure on, obviously. And there's no full stop to the name. So there you go. 3 red flags. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm not going to go into the correct sentence structure. I'm going to go right down to this because we're going to go into the correct sentence structure in the latter portion of this video. So it says, I've noticed that you've recently started bringing up correct sentence structure again in a way that contradicts the neutral stance we both agreed on during our discussion, which is true. In my discussion with him, he did not give me the closure that he didn't say that he didn't have closure or admit that he didn't have closure in the grammar. I guess we just came to a mutual cognition that we had different stances or positions on the grammar. And because at the time I thought, okay, well, this guy doesn't seem like he's terrible. This guy doesn't seem to be malicious about anything. And he wasn't trying to get me to bend the knee or anything. Like when I asked him, well, why are you saying you're commander-in-chief of, Earth or whatever? Because I certainly didn't consent to that. And then he said, no, I'm just commander-in-chief of the people that agreed to it and of the military. It's like, oh, okay. And I sort of let that slide, In that video, actually, in that meeting, because I'm at heart, I'm a peaceful individual, I let it go. And I figure, okay, he can do whatever he wants to do. It's up to other folks if they want to contract with him. It's up to them to do their research. But as for me, what he does doesn't affect me in any which way, shape, or form. It still really doesn't, except that I'm creating content for my channel from it, which he's willingly given me, as you can see. However, I began to start thinking about it. Well, if someone claims to be commander-in-chief and they really believe that, that's a problem. And if they don't really believe they're commander-in-chief and they're pretending to be, that's also a problem. And if they're claiming to have closure on grammar and they really believe they have closure on grammar when they don't have closure on grammar and they're not aware of it, that's a problem. If they know they don't have closure on the grammar and they're pretending to have closure on the grammar and deceiving people and making money off of it, that's also a problem. So I began thinking about these things. But again, we had come to an accord, a parlay, during that meeting. So what I did was, I took down the videos that I had made about him, as we agreed on, and we left each other alone. Then, last year, one of my best students, I know you've heard this name before, Harry - Charles Rookslow, over the pond, told me that an associate of Jason Paul Grievous, if not Jason Paul Grievous himself, I can't remember which one it was, whether it was the Jake guy that was mentioned in this email or Grievous himself, told Harry that they'd be more than willing to share with him the video meeting between Grievous and myself. And I was like, what? That's a break of confidentiality. That's a breach of contract. And I was like, Harry, are you sure of that? I mean, I don't mean to question Harry because I trust the guy 100%. Always been honorable and graceful. He's like, yeah, they offered to show me the video. And I said, well, I mean, I don't care if you watch it. I'm saying that Grievous said it was confidential and agreed to it. Number one, I can't remember if he recorded it or not. I know that I started off saying I don't consent to any recording. And then I know he said something like, well, I record everything that I do. And then because I wanted to come to some conclusion to this scenario, I consented to it on the condition that, okay, if you record it, you can't share it. Or you don't share it. You keep it to yourself. And he did 100% agree to that, if my memory serves me. Because if he hadn't, I wouldn't have went forward with it. See, I compromised by consenting to the recording on the condition that he didn't share it. But he did. He obviously shared it with this Jake guy. And then this Jake guy, or Jason himself, were going to share it with my student Harry. So that's a break right there, a breach, avoidance of the honor and grace. So any agreement that we made during that meeting is now null and void because this guy broke it first. And so once that happens, all bets are off. So then he says, I'm reaching out because I'd like to understand what changed and why you've decided to revisit this after we had already come to a mutual understanding. Well, now you know. I respected our agreement. No, you did not. I have remained peaceful and I expect the same in return. No, you broke confidentiality and that is not peaceful. That's a shit move. If there's something you want to address, I'd rather handle it directly than let things escalate unnecessarily. I think I'm being pretty direct about it right off the bat. I think he means handle it in private because he doesn't want people to know about this. I don't care if people know about it. I don't care if people know about that video because the confidentiality has already been broken. The only thing that I could say that he might possibly do is edit it using AI in a way that would probably maybe make me look in a way different than was the original content. But even then, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me because I know this guy's character now. I've seen him for what he is now. So anything he does is not going to be a surprise to me anymore. You give someone the benefit of the doubt and then they do that. They break their agreement. They break their confidentiality agreement. It doesn't matter what they do because you're going to expect shit things to happen from that type of individual. I am too busy. I think he needs an O, another O on that too, to be playing silly internet games respectfully. Oh, well then why are you participating in silly internet games then? I am asking you to grow up, remove the video, or I will be forced to defend myself and defend this agreement, which is well documented, I must remind you. Well documented. What does he mean by that? Because if it was well documented, it would be in the public. It would already be in the public. But the video, the agreement, is in a confidential video. So he's admitting or perjuring himself right here, even though it's in brackets, but we're going to get to the correct sentence structure portion of it in a little bit. He's contradicting himself. It's not well documented. It was supposed to be just between he and I. But he voided that agreement. I have remained humble, peaceful, and neutral. There's no humility in telling someone to grow up. That means that you know what's best for their lives. Okay? That's really funny. But of course, you know how young folks, they think they know everything, don't they? I digress. I have remained humble, peaceful, and neutral, and you have not, which is a breach of prior agreements. Take the video down and stay honorable. Now they're trying to tell me what to do, which is a no-no. That's a trespass. And again, with correct sentence structure, you have to show the trespass and show a damage or perceived damage, which this guy has not said what the damage is. How is this damaging him? Is it damaging his capacity or ability to run a scam on people? Is he afraid of exposure? Sounds like it. I will give you 24 hours if the video is still up. Then I will defend myself. I hope it doesn't come to this stage, but I won't be treated like a fool. Folks, think about that. Think about, there's a lot in that sentence right there. I will give you 24 hours if the video is still up. Okay, what video? They have not specified any video, not given a link, not given a continuance of the evidence, nothing. They threw this bullshit half-assed email together with spelling errors and everything in it and sent it out and have not specified what the trespass is. They're vaguely saying that there's some video up that I should remove. Well, I have made more than one video about this guy. So which one is it? And then they will defend themselves. Now we're getting into the domain of fiction, which we already are actually, but he's further putting it into the fiction by saying he's defending himself. What does that mean? Does that mean there's a damage occurring? So what's the damage? Or what's the perceived damage? What's going to happen if the video stays up? What's he afraid of? And then he says, I won't be treated like a fool. And this to me is the most humorous part of the whole thing. He saved the best for last. Because when someone says, and this is my own perception, if someone says, I won't be treated like a fool, it means they're probably worried about the public's perception of them. So that, now we're getting to the root of the reason why this guy's reaching out to me. He doesn't want to look foolish in public. He's afraid of something. Is he afraid of being exposed? Afraid of criticism? Afraid of being called out? I got to remind you, this is something that I have cultivated through 8 years of this YouTube channel and over 1,000 videos. If I make a mistake, I want people to say something about it. I want people to call me to the carpet because then I can address it, correct it, and move on. I don't fear criticism. But if you come with criticism, you better come with a continuance of the evidence. Unlike this guy, who's making vague accusations, who's talking about a video, I don't know what video he's talking about, and making vague threats. Ooh, he has to defend himself. What is he going to do? Make a video and then so his subscribers can see it? I don't know. So then it says best, CMDR, and CPMG. No idea what the hell that means. No closure. And then again, the incorrectly punctuated name, which means Jason-Paul is a pronoun and grievous is a pronoun, and there is no full stop to the name. So not only does this individual not really have a grasp of correct sentence structure, they're pretty shit on their plain simple English as well. I have copy and pasted Jason-Paul Grievous's, the text of Grievous's email here onto a Word document. I have kept the formatting the same as the email. So everything is produced exactly like it was over there. So let's take a look at this correct sentence structure. Now I'm going to point some things out to you, and then I'm going to show you the syntax of this. So here's the first thing. For the claim of the fact. So they're only claiming one fact. Not multiple facts, just one. Well, which one is it? Which one are they claiming? Is it claim? Is it fact? Is it position? What is it? I don't know. You see here incorrect use of the full colon, incorrect spacing. And look at the name that they put here. That's not my name. My name is upper and lowercase. When you all cap a name in the context of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, we all know what that means. That's a dead entity. You would capitalize David-WYNN Miller's name because he is no longer here. Just like they capitalize names on a tombstone. So Grievous has, interestingly enough, chosen to all cap my name. And here we go again with another incorrect use of the colon and spacing therein. And look at this right here. What is that? What is CSS-CPSG? Folks, I know what it implies, but in correct sentence structure, we have to be 100% correct across the board. We have to dot the T's and cross the I's, so to speak. That is not an abbreviation. CSS-CPSG is not an abbreviation. In correct sentence structure, if you were to abbreviate it, it would be C period hyphen S period hyphen S period hyphen C period hyphen P period hyphen S period hyphen G period, and it would be underlined, bottom lined. So there's that. And then of course you can just see all the particles of negation and effects. We have contra. We have a vowel in front of two consonants. It's bad enough that a vowel in front of a consonant means no, but a vowel in front of two consonants, even David-WYNN Miller will tell you that's no contract. So if we look at the meat of the sentence, for the claim of the fact is with the position of the, let's use some grace here, of the Jason Matthew Glass, with the modification of the correct sentence structure. What does this mean? So the cause of the sentence is the claim. Okay. What's the claim concerned with? A fact. The fact. What fact is that? Singular verb is, possession is position. Position is possessing the fact. Which fact though? What's the position concerned with? Jason Matthew Glass. Okay. So what's possessing Jason Matthew Glass? Modification is possessing Jason Matthew Glass, the all-capped dead entity. What's the modification concerned with? Correct sentence structure. So they're claiming that my position, now I'm doing this for knowledge cultivation purposes, folks. They're claiming that the position of all-cap Jason Matthew Glass is with modification of correct sentence structure. So they're claiming that Jason Matthew Glass is modifying correct sentence structure. And what's possessing the correct sentence structure? The contradiction. How can a contradiction possess a correct sentence structure? What's the contradiction concerned with? A neutral stance. So a neutral stance is concerned with a contradiction that's possessing correct sentence structure. What's possessing the neutral stance? And a no contract agreement, because vowel in front of two consonants is no contract. And then what is the authority of the agreement? A former discussion. So we don't have a claimant here. We don't have any author taking authority over whatever's being claimed here. But it doesn't matter, folks, because as you can see up here, the following claims are of a negative written stance. So they're all negative. They don't exist. We might as well be looking at a blank piece of paper here. So this sentence really makes absolutely no sense in the context of what this guy is attempting to talk about. Because if they're talking about the discussion that we had during the video meeting that was confidential, correct sentence structure was not used in the meeting. We used plain simple English. So what modification of correct sentence structure is being done except right here in front of your eyes? So I'm not even going to go into the rest of them. What I'm going to go right into now is the syntaxing. Okay? Because I've addressed all the other things because he was nice enough to translate what he was saying, at least most of it, into plain simple English. But now we're going to go into the syntax and forensics of this email. So there's your syntax of the email. I'm not going to go into each little thing because this would be a very long video if I did that. But I have gone over this 2 or 3 times, and I don't feel like there are any glaring errors in here. I'm sure some of my high-level students out there will find some errors. I'm pretty sure, because to err is human and everybody makes mistakes. And I will be more than happy to correct them later if such is the case. But I highly doubt anyone's going to find any syntaxing errors. So you can see I pointed out the use, I put in red the all cap name, which it's interesting down here in this claim. The grievous capitalizes his own name. So what is he, a walking zombie or something? He all caps his own name. Look at all these particles of negation, folks. Look at them all. If one of those would zero out the whole thing, look at this. If you want to talk about negative written stance, no shit, buddy. If a claim of the question is with the reason of the position change, with the revisits of the correct sentence structure, with the mutual understanding by the agreement, what is he talking about? Revisiting correct sentence structure. What correct sentence structure? There was no correct sentence structure used in that meeting. And if he decides to put it out in the public, you will see that. The claim of the agreement respects is with the claim of the performer. Okay, this just tells me, this is an indicator to me of just an indicator. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm saying it's an indicator as a tutor who's taught this for 8 years. I don't know how long Jason Paul Grievous has been involved in any of this. I don't know how many videos he has on his channel, but I'm easily able to certify that I've been teaching this for 8 years. I have over 1,000 correct sentence structure videos on this channel. I have hundreds of students, none of which have ever accused me of not teaching, of not knowing what I was talking about. No one has ever done that I'm aware of. This is an indicator that this guy is lazy. That he's just going to use particles of negation willy-nilly, just throw them out there, doesn't care, doesn't want to take the time to create positive performance words in a dictionary, which, by the way, I have seen this guy's dictionary. I literally have a copy of it. And there is zero correct sentence structure in it. It's all adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun. All of it. Now, I've recently been informed that he has updated it, like within the past couple days. But it doesn't matter. I have the copy that is older than that he's claiming to be dictionary, and it is just more continuance of the evidence. More powder to keep dry here. So again, they want to directly handle this, meaning they don't want to go out to the public, and they're threatening unnecessary escalation. What in the hell does that mean? There's going to be no escalation. Okay, the more that this guy tries to stop the facts of his lack of knowledge and lack of closure of correct sentence structure for coming out in the public, the more it's going to come out in the public. Because the next email, if he sends me another email or his buddy leaves comments, I'm just going to syntax that too. And do the same thing I'm doing now. I'm just going to keep doing it. And by the way, and this is directly to you, Jason Paul Grievous, I have multiple people from over in your neck of the woods who have joined your Telegram group, who have ordered services from you, paid for services from you, and not received those services. They have proof of being ripped off with no results from you. I have people coming to me that say you don't know what you're talking about. And when you're confronted by that, you get mad or you ban them or block them from your group. I have people with evidence just waiting on the sidelines. So you keep doing what you're doing. If you want to send me another email, you want to keep this going, you're worried about escalation, well, that's all up to you, pal. It's up to you. As they say. What's that guy? Remember that guy that stands next to the dry erase board with the graph? F around and find out? Well, keep effing around, pal. Keep effing around. There's more to come. It just depends how far you want to go with it. So it says, for the claim of the thoughts request is with oh man, that bugs me. I forgot to green that for, that pronoun. It was with the opening of this communication with the quest of the, again, zombie dead entity Jason Paul Grievous Xmas video removed. What? All right, let's go this back. Let's check this sentence backwards, folks. For this claim of the Grievous Xmas video removed is with the Jason Paul of the quest with this communication of the opening with the thoughts request by the claim. So they're claiming a thoughts request. What is the thought? The thought of opening this communication? But they're also on a quest for the Jason Paul. They're on a quest of the Jason Paul, sorry. And what's possessing the Jason Paul? Grievous's Xmas video removed in the past tense. So that absolutely makes no sense. Now, I know what they're saying there. I mean, with the balance of the honor and the grace, which I am grudgingly giving this kid, they want the video removed. But what video? They have not specified what video it is that they want removed. So in closing up the syntax portion of this video, you can see the syntax values I have banked, and they're certainly not 567, 567, 2, 567, 567, 567. You can see many mistakes here. I will add a few more mistakes to it. You can see here that there's no full stop after this claim, no full stop after this claim. So again, this seems to be pure laziness on the part of this individual. Just throwing something together. For me, folks, the grammar is sacred. Okay? I don't joke around with it. It's very serious because it's a very pure technology. I take it very seriously. With the seriousness. And when someone does something like this, especially with the other things that they're claiming, I take it very serious. And here you go. This is more continuance of the evidence that Jason Paul Grievous does not possess closure on correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. Therefore, if you're paying for him to teach you this, that's on you. Because I'm showing you again and again and again that the guy does not have closure on this grammar. So now let's turn our attention to the other individual that was in the email address bar in the email that I showed you. Jake Single. That's who this guy is. These are the comments they left on my YouTube channel. Now, I wanted to save this for a comments video, but I'll just do it here because they deleted these comments. They deleted them, and you will see why. Because that's what scammers do. That's what grifters do. They hit and run. They try to navigate by fear and intimidation, condescension. They use every trick in the book. And I use the word trick in the book to try and gain some sort of foothold. But they have nothing to put their foot on because they have no foundation. Why don't they have a foundation? Because they don't know the grammar. They don't have closure on the grammar. And so they run away. Just like the fiction. That's how we know that Jake and Jason Paul Grievous are firmly rooted in the fiction. So he starts off by saying, and look, he actually abbreviates correct sentence structure, but he left out the period after the G. For the correct sentence structure claim of the claimant is with the document, contract, particle negation, contra, claim of the claimant with an original particle negation in the fact there, O in front of the R, at the beginning of the word, claim by the claimant, hyphen space, J, period, hyphen, period, there's a P, but there's no period after the P, and then space, colon, space, Grievous, another incorrect use of the colon, and then no full stop after the Grievous. So, isn't it funny, folks, that Jake is making a claim for Jason Paul Grievous? We all know in correct sentence structure, one may only make claims for oneself. Unless, of course, Grievous has given Jakey permission to make a claim on his behalf. Can write and read in fiction and write and read in correct sentence structure. I have no doubt that Grievous can read and write in fiction, but correct sentence structure, he might be able to read it, but he sure as shit can't write it. You, Jason Mathrew. Who's Jason Mathrew? I don't know who that is. Can say what you wish about others that your choose. You, Jason Mathrew. Mathrew. Is Jakey Oriental? I just wonder. Mathrew. That sounds like he's Asian. Interesting. Neither one of these guys can speak or write in plain simple English either, obviously. And it's true. I mean, I can say what I wish about others. Sure, anybody can. So my coolie on it to that was, you must be Grievous's babysitter chaperone. Welcome. With all of the particles of negation in your words in your attempt at correct sentence structure, I can see that much like your hero, you don't possess closure on the grammar either. And then they say, mate, I know about the meeting you had with Jason. Go ahead and say what you wish, as you do about other claimants. You're welcome. It's your choose. So they say, mate, I know. What does it mean to mate, folks? I'm sorry, Jakey, but I don't swing that way, bro. First of all, I'm married, and I prefer females, not males. I mean, if you prefer males, that's you and Jason's business, but I'm not your mate. Maybe Jason's your mate, I don't know. Mating with those genders, maybe that's your choice. You play for that team. I don't, bro. So, please, chill. So, he says he knows about the meeting that I had with Grievous. So that tells me Grievous, that clues me in. This is the third time I've been clued in to Grievous broke the confidentiality of our meeting. That he gave his word on his honor that he would keep it confidential. This is my first indicator, or my third indicator of that. So then my correspondence is, I'm glad you admit publicly to knowing about a confidential meeting. That's just more reason to warn people about you and your hero. No honor and no correct sentence structure closure, but keep talking here on my platform. So then then I say, you can edit your comments all you want. I already took screenshots of the originals. Remember, you're a guest here. So back here, you can see here that they edited this comment. I'm not sure what they did. It really doesn't matter. It's all shit anyways. And then Jakey says, you are allowed. I think they mean, allowed. I am allowed. Yes, I'm speaking. Allowed. But if you're talking about allowed as in permission, it would be ALLOWED, bro. Learn some plain, simple English. I would highly recommend. It's very beneficial in your journey to learning correct sentence structure, which you seem to be at the very beginning of. You are allowed to talk to Jason. What does that mean? Is Jakey giving me permission to talk to his mate? I mean, he has no reason to be jealous because I don't swing that way, but okay. Thanks, Jake. I think I'm allowed to know, as I'm an equal partner, as principal party of the now time space. No one needs to know what is said in the neutrality agreed upon in the volition of the systems. So, on the one hand, Jakey is ingratiating himself into Grievous's and mine alleged confidentiality, saying that even though I didn't consent to it and I didn't know about it, Jakey presumes that he has a position to know about what Grievous and I talked about confidentiality. In the confidential. So he's presuming without asking my permission. So there you go. That's all you need to know about these people's character. They just presume and assume whatever they want, and they don't honor contracts. Which, again, I have multiple people coming forward and sharing stories of being ripped off by these people. And then they go in to say no one needs to know what is said. So he's basically telling me that, yeah, he knows about it because he feels he has a position to do so, or as in the fiction we would say, he has the right to do it because he's partners with Grievous. But yeah, he'll keep it confidential. So, kind of like implying that I can trust him. So then I say, so the confidentiality of other people's contracts is determined by you. Like I said, no honor. You don't honor confidentiality, and it appears you don't comprehend being a guest. You are in my house, here. Are you here to tell me whose channel this is? I can see why the both of you work so well together at your grift. Now let's go back to last year when Commander-Chief, i.e. Jason Paul Grievous, sent me these comments where he said, what a load of rubbish, you're a fraud and your own website proves you don't know anything about PARSE and syntax grammar. You were also messaged by me years ago and you did a runner. You've got 45 days to stop and correct and put closure on your words or I will be formally disqualifying you. P.S. Give me a call for some free lessons. Looks like you need it. Wow. He's going outside the brackets here. He's fully in the fiction here. And look, folks, is it not obvious to you that this guy is a complete bully? What's he trying to do here? I have 45 days to stop and correct. 45 days is long gone past, but what am I stopping and correcting? He never specified that. Just like in the email, he's not specifying what the trespass is. What damages is he getting from me putting out videos claiming that he doesn't have closure on the grammar? What damage is that? Rather than threatening and trying to shut me up and get the videos removed, why wouldn't he just put out correct sentence structure that's correct? Why wouldn't he prove that he knows that he knows how to syntax? It's pretty easy. The fact that he's addressing any of this at all tells you something. And this is where he and Russell J. Gould differ. I also claim that Russell does not have closure on the grammar. Okay? And I have proven that multiple times. Multiple times. But Russell doesn't address it in the public. Not really that I've ever seen. Won't email me directly. Won't take me up on any of the various challenges that I've thrown out. Why? Because he knows if he does it, it's going to draw attention to him. And he probably doesn't want it. Either that or he doesn't care. Either which way, I'm good with it. But this guy cares for some reason. He cares. He doesn't want the scrutiny and attention. But he doesn't realize that the more he pokes and reacts to what I'm doing, to the criticism, rather than correcting the criticism or humbling, using, cultivating humility, he's just going to, as he says, escalate it. And it's just going to get more attention to him. And then he says, really, you use the word and you join letters, you use all caps writing, then jump to case text in the compound name. All you're doing is regurgitating crap. Like I said, prove your claims on the copyrights I hold, you fool. Going straight to the ad hominem, name-calling, logical fallacy type said, what claims on copyright am I claiming? The only claims I've ever claimed about copyright for correct sentence structure is that no one holds a correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, copyright claim to the flag or to the grammar. No one. Not him, not Russell J. Gould, not no one. And I've already proven that. Why doesn't he realize that? Well, probably because he doesn't have closure on the grammar. All right, folks, let's head down to the beach real quick and take stock of everything I've talked about in this video. And I know this is a long-winded video. It's actually not meant to hold your attention. It's actually meant more as documentation of what's going on for my safety. And to basically help to bring this to a conclusion. At least for my part. I mean, I don't really care what Jason Paul Grievous or Jake Single, the mates, I don't care what they do. It doesn't really affect me other than it creates content for this channel, in that I really want to warn people about those two individuals and the grift that they run, because they don't have closure on this grammar. One other thing I do have to mention that's very important is that in the past, Jason Paul Grievous has claimed to be Commander-in-Chief. That title implies a military connection. He has claimed the same title that Russell J. Gould claims, being in command of the military. Neither one of those men have been in the military, by the way. And Jason Paul Grievous used to have this little card that he claimed was a military ID card. Again, my good friend, Harry-Charles, Rookslow, a man who has done service. He was in the Royal Marines for many, many years. He speaks Jack speak, meaning he's the real deal, folks. Real deal. He knows what military ID cards look like. And he knows that Grievous's ID card is a fake. Which means Grievous's claims of being commander of militaries is fake. It's fraudulent. And Harry has indeed called Grievous out on this. And Grievous, of course, has given no closure on it. And curiously enough, I spent a good amount of time looking for those photos of Grievous with the military ID card. They're gone. They've been scrubbed for whatever reason, and I can't find any evidence of him proving his commander-in-chief claim, being commander in the militaries. On the other hand, Russell J. Gould does have paperwork out there that he claims is proof of his title, which grammatically it's not correct, so it's not a correct sentence structure claim. But Grievous has no proof out there at all. Matter of fact, you will find little to no proof of any of the claims that he makes out there. So there you go, folks. The next chapter in this saga. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it entertaining. And again, if Grievous keeps contacting me, then I'll just put more and more and more on the table. More proof, more evidence. Because as an old friend of mine used to say, you got to keep your powder dry. You don't really show your whole hand to someone right off the bat. And I got a hand. Okay? My powder is dry. I'm ready to go. I'm not really concerned about what that guy's doing. As a matter of fact, I will not go to see if he's made a video response or anything like that, because I know if I do that, I will direct more people his way. And that I really don't want to do now. Or at least I don't want to facilitate it. If people want to know what his website is, what his YouTube channel is, they can go back to the past videos I've done about him, which of course I will leave. If you watch to the end of this video, you will see, a video here, there, maybe. And there'll be videos concerning, that I've made concerning him and showing more continuous evidence that he doesn't have closure on grammar or what he's claiming. So that's that. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. If I have, I might make another video or two about it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments field. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. Peace out.